841 at K-Fire. The legendary voice of the Northern Plains, 550 AM, 99.7 FM, and the free iHeart app. Best podcast on iHeart. Guns in the 701. Gentlemen, how are you?
Great.
Wow, so many words. Don't be so wordy. Just try to cut it down a little bit, will you? So what's going on with the GOP? I mean, what, you know, are they like forgetting the Second Amendment, or what's? It's still there, right? The Second Amendment's still there, right?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, I thought maybe I missed a memo or something. Like it didn't matter anymore.
Well, maybe some in the GOP might have been forgetting about it for a while, but according to Associated Press, North Center for Public Affairs Research poll, they're starting to come back to reality here, Todd. Democrats, of course, have always been far ahead of Republicans and independents in their belief that Second Amendment infringements should be pushed further. But like you said, the GOP support has been dropping even further. Most Democrats, 92%, they want Second Amendment infringement made a lot farther than it is right now. But Republicans' desire for that has dropped to 32% from 49% last summer, which 49% is quite high as far as I'm concerned for the GOP. 32% is way high. It should be zero, but I'm glad to see it's dropping. It definitely should be zero, Clay. And last summer, independent support, they said this. Of course, this is an AP article here, so if it's I like picking these because they're slanted against our rights. But independents, they say the support declined slightly to 61% from 72. And 11% is not a slight decline as far as I'm concerned, Todd. I think that's pretty good. We'll take it, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah. So and of course, they say here, too, the majority of Americans say they would support some additional Second Amendment infringements, particularly, Clay, background checks and red flag laws, right? Because we know those have been working so great, right?
Oh, yeah, nobody would ever abuse a red flag law. I mean, you know, I could just call up and say, hey, Clay and Jamie, I mean, I'm kind of afraid of these guys. They seem really weird. I hear them on the radio, and I hear them on their podcast on iHeart, and they seem really weird, and then they take away your gun. I mean, okay, I lived through the one instance where maybe something of that ilk. My late fiance, her ex, was very abusive and had a definite arsenal. He went and filed an order for protection against her, saying that he was afraid of her, as a preemptive strike of her filing one against him because then he'd have to get rid of the guns.
And that's what happens, Todd. That's how that would go down just about every time if we had the, quote, red flag laws across the United States. It's an insane idea and just a power grab, really, to eliminate the Second Amendment.
I mean, here's an idea. Let's get to the bottom of what's going on with people before we just decide whether or not they get to have the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, so this sample, this poll, of course, it comes from Associated Press. It's not exactly a far right-leaning. It's a very left-leaning, complete ideology-based poll, basically, of 1,165 U.S. adults. That was the sample. Well, currently today, according to the last census, there are 334,233,854 people in the United States. I don't think that's a real good reflection, especially when they go out and say, well, the majority of Americans, they're supporting this. No, they're not. They're supporting the people that took the poll. And you'll love this. That 1,163-person sample come from the NORC, that's their polling place, Probability-Based America Speak panel, which is designed to represent the U.S. population. So this is in their own archives of people they sample for polling. So to me, the poll ain't worth the paper it's probably.
Never mind the fact polls can really depend on how questions are worded as well.
Absolutely. When I took stats in college, it made me believe no statistics anymore, because the way you word them and then what you cherry pick out of them polls, you make the results be whatever you want. And most of them are designed with an intended result. I mean, that that's the way they do it.
Clay, would you like a pie in the face?
There you go.
Yes or no?
There you
Yes or
go.
no? Would you like a pie in the face?
Well, I'd have to say no.
Okay, Jamie,
Yeah.
would you
Yeah,
like a
of course
pie in the
not.
face?
No.
Just play along with me here. Don't. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
would.
here's
Yeah, give me a pie.
now I've done a survey, and everybody in this survey hates pie.
There you go. Exactly. Good analogy, because that's exactly what they do.
Yep.
Oh,
It's like,
that's why I don't
let's-
do
let's-
weed polls.
I mean,
Let's,
I wouldn't want a pie in the face either. That's 3 out of 3 that hate pie. Except I love pie, so that's
And I'll throw this back to Jamie here pretty quick here, but I got to point out too that most of the people that are having these issues, especially with quote gun violence, there's that terminology again, which there's no such thing. They're in cities around the nation. There's no doubt about it. But most of these cities are run by Democrats with the utopia gun control laws that they already want, including some with red flag laws. So,
and yet they never work.
and they never
Because nobody ever shoots anybody in Chicago.
only every
No.
day.
Only every day.
yeah.
Exactly.
So some of the things there they go over that they say that has bipartisan support. You know, they always love to use that word when it works for them.
Yep.
The background checks are saying 93% of Democrats, 68% of Republicans. I don't know that I disagree with that one too much because I do know a lot of Republicans. It's kind of like you said, Todd. They don't look too deeply into it, and they think background checks are not that bad of a thing.
Well,
Until you look into them a little more.
If you got 400 Democrats and 1 Republican supporting a piece of legislation, it has bipartisan support. Well,
Nah,
look a little
according to
deeper,
them, yeah.
Right.
right? Look just
Yeah,
a
they
little
love
deeper
that.
than that word. Otherwise, you. Hey, you know
This
you can
one is kind of troubling.
go ahead.
I got a weird one here, too. In here it says more than 8 in 10 Americans, 85%, say it's extremely or very important to prevent mass shootings. Why is that not 100%? 80, so 15% of Americans think mass shootings are cool?
Depends on the
According to
wording.
their own
Depends on the wording.
Right?
Okay. Hey, how do you
Yeah.
feel about me throwing a rock through your window? Why do you guys hate rocks so much?
Darn rock.
Again, it depends on.
Poll, Todd. We need Todd's Second Amendment poll. I'm liking this. You can slant it our way.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm not even deliberately trying to slant anything, but it's just common sense and it's so easy to slant, be it Second Amendment or whatever the heck it is. It's so easy to slant a poll, as I think I just demonstrated
Oh, yeah.
on 2 different poll questions. They hate
Big
rocks
time.
and
Big
pies,
time.
everybody. You heard it.
Exactly,
Let's
that's
go
what they
to
do.
this one real quick. The dreaded AR-15, of course, they say.
The assault rifle
15% want a
15,
ban
yeah.
on it. Yeah, yep. The America's Rifle 15, yeah. They say 15% want a ban. Have 42% favor a law that only 42% favor a law that let trained teachers and administrators carry guns in schools. But I thought 58%, even for this slanted poll, was pretty low about banning America's Rifle. But yeah, I know in a real poll, I've seen other polls where it's definitely less than 50% support for banning them. But
I know
No,
I'm going to
this
get
one's
hated for
50,
this
yeah.
one, but if you gave every single kid and adult in school a gun and they were taught how to use it properly, I'd be very interested to see how the dynamic would change, but that's just me.
I imagine they'd be
I'd
a
love
hard
to see it,
target
too.
again, and they wouldn't have a soft target, and those guys would choose that are going to do these things. They're going to choose a different target because they want them to do as much destruction first before they go out. And that wouldn't be to their advantage then.
Somewhere somebody's thinking, now Todd's in favor of school violence. No,
Yeah.
it's not what I said. Anyway, Guns in the 701 here on K-Fire. All you need to do is just do what California did. 11% tax on guns, ammo. Hey, all right, we'll let you have it. We'll just tax the living crap out of it.
And not the first time this has been tried, Todd. We've seen this come through in Congress several times. A lot of times you don't hear about it because the dreaded NRA everybody hates, there says they don't do nothing. They usually stop it in committee first, so that's why you don't hear about it a lot. But, yeah, they want 11%. So California went ahead and passed this on August 23rd. They passed this, It was sponsored by Assemblyman Jesse Gabriel, another Democrat. By the way, go look at his voting record. You'll see why this is coming about. Horrible, and he's evidently a communist, according to me. Anyway, it's being presented as a way to raise money for school safety. Now, they don't exactly say how it would increase school safety, but they did state that it would go toward gun violence prevention programs and security improvements.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're going to collect a tax like that, then you better be putting it into those schools and making them hardened targets so that basically they become fortresses in a way, for lack of a better term. But that will do no good. I will be interested to see where this revenue that they want to raise is going to be earmarked towards. By the way, California bars their K-12 teachers from being armed to protect their students. It also prohibits concealed carry permit holders from being armed on college campuses. So, you know, like we talked in the past on the show here several times, that schools are soft targets. You can see it in those schools where they are allowing it. Guess what happens? Nothing. People don't go there. In fact, when the shooters are interviewed, they even say, "I didn't go there because it wasn't an easy target." So, go ahead, Jamie.
What if California would put an 11% tax on your free speech? How do you think that'd go over down there? 'Cause that's a civil right, just like the Second Amendment is.
Well, yeah,
that's a poll tax.
I imagine what would happen is they'd be okay with that on our conservative members.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But the liberal ones,
that would not be enforced equally and fairly, would it?
No,
not a chance. Guns in the 701 here.
Because you guys got hate speech. You guys got hate speech going. You can't do that.
I know, because I hate pie and rocks.
Yeah, and you want more you want more school violence.
Oh, evidently. Yeah, evidently. That's exactly what we're shooting for. All right, so Governor Grisham down in New Mexico has been somewhat disgraced even in the eyes of fellow Democrats, although apparently one person's sympathetic. She has a hard job because the extremist Supreme Court won't let us pass good policy like a total carry ban. What? That's... By the way, that's Elizabeth Warren, Senator Warren from Massachusetts. So,
Pocahontas.
Yeah, everybody
consider the source, I guess.
Everybody's favorite Native American senator from Democrat there from
Senator Pocahontas. That's right. I forgot about that.
That's right.
Yep. You don't forget that. Hey, that's her own words, man. She said she is. So, and she's not really, but that's her. I'm using her own description of herself. But she said mayors and governors have the hardest jobs in the world right now, Todd. Yeah, because of gun violence, to stop gun violence, because like you said, the extremist U.S. Supreme Court has prevented them from enacting good policies, like completely banning carrying guns. You know the part of the Second Amendment civil right where it says the right to keep and bear, like you got it on you, you're carrying it. See, she thinks that's fine. And our Supreme Court is extreme for actually enforcing our rights and protecting our civil rights. But she thinks it's ridiculous. And we had the first poll there. You know, most 90-some% of Democrats would agree with her, right? So she was on CNN with this host Abby Phillips, and I gotta like what Abby actually said. Do you believe that this is the right move, and do you even think it's legal? Right? And what was her response to that, Clayton?
Well, she didn't really care. All she went into is she responded like, I will put it this way. I think mayors and our governors have the hardest job in the world right now when it comes to, quote, gun violence. Keep in mind, for example, that I'm glad she brought this up, the District of Columbia a few years back, D.C. said, we just want to basically ban carrying guns. And good for D.C. They said it was going to bring down gun violence.
Works for all there, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they were right, which they weren't. And then the extremist United States Supreme Court said, nope, we're not going to let you do it. And then Congress wouldn't act to try and give them some more tools. I mean, this is the delusional world they live in. This is the delusional world they live in.
It's just... But, you know, they have not outlawed karate. You know why? Karate for defense only. I saw Miyagi say it. Karate for defense only.
He's a big Democrat, so he's a big Democrat. I'm out on Miyagi.
If I'm telling you, wipe
I didn't
on,
know
wipe
he had
off.
a political leaning either way, but all right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you came out against Second Amendment years ago, Todd.
Not Miyagi. Pat
Yeah,
Morita might have, but not
absolutely.
Miyagi.
All right, you got me there.
Okay.
You got me there.
All right. Oh, we got that sounds. Guns to
I
the
actually like
701.
Miyagi.
The new
We got a
stuff
good show
on.
coming up Wednesday, though. I
Yeah.
can tell you that. I'll let Jamie explain that.
Go for it.
What's that, Clayton? I didn't catch that.
Wednesday, we got a good show. We got a great guest coming on, don't we?
Yeah, Todd, you know her, Naomi Chafee, Constitutional Chafee. We're going to have her on the live stream Wednesday night, 6 Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, Facebook, YouTube, gunsinthe701.com. We're going to be talking some constitutional issues with guns, just kind of like we're doing now, but she's a young lady going to college, started her own live stream and podcast up. We're going to have a good conversation.
Second best podcast on iHeart.
Second
best, Absolutely.
Yeah. This is, of
Very
course, the
close
best
second,
one.
by the way. And racing for number one. We'll have the
There we
countdown
go.
every week right here on K-Fire. Guns of the 701, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Todd. Talk
You
to you
too,
later.
Todd. Thanks, buddy.
All right, man. Anytime.